Oh, hi there. Welcome. I'm Rochelle Jackson, your non-toxic lifestyle coach. A little tattoo left over there from my girls. Um, Thank you for joining. If you are joining live, put a hashtag live and where you're coming in from. And if you're joining on a replay, hashtag replay and the same thing. And don't be scared to leave a name or just send me a note. I'm not mean and grumpy all the time, like my kids say, but they're little. They don't do much. 12 is an age that mom is always wrong. Anyways, today is one of those days where I was just kind of sitting back, contemplating the importance of different things and honestly just thought provoking questions. And I just thought I would take an opportunity to share my musings with you. And some of these are, well, they're all geared toward non toxic lifestyles that we know better, we live better for periods of time, and then we revert. So tell me why. That's what I want to know. So and I say we because I have birthed 5 children. No, that was 3 pregnancies. But during those times of pregnancy and my breastfed, so breastfeeding, I significantly altered what I ate, the vitamins I took, and even detergents, everything, hair care. I really just kind of looked at my body as a temple and a supporter of life. So then baby comes, and I loosen up a little bit on my rigidity, and it comes down to the food I'm taking in. And the food I'm taking in is partially because it's not making my children sick. Because I say children because I nursed twins twice. So I'm trying to make a diet work that helps me lose some of the baby weight, but doesn't cause my children to be colicky and gassy. So I'm making really smart gut choices. Tell me why. Tell me why when we stop nursing or our bodies stop carrying a child, do we revert to behaviors that we know from the medical community are not really that great? We know that lunch meats are not a great choice, that soft cheeses have risk, that VOCs come in paint, so pregnant women shouldn't paint the walls. Well, why aren't we thinking about everybody and handling it from a perspective of let's change the paint, alter the components of the paint, or create a safe environment for someone to paint in and providing them with the safety gear they need. So I think about those kind of musings, if you will, throughout my day. So today it was, why did I go back to that? And I was thinking in that direction because I've had to make a massive lifestyle change of going gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, and corn-free. So it doesn't leave a huge window of opportunity. And my husband, God love him, offered me another bowl of lentil soup. And I said, is it lentil? And he said, yeah. I said, I'm okay. I'm just gonna pass. I can't take another lentil right now. So we're still figuring out what I can and can't eat. But as I go through this process, I think some of these things wouldn't have to be a challenge for me to give up if I'd just stayed on the regimen I was on when I was carrying children. It makes me wonder. So, knowing we alter the choices, then we revert back. So, I personally didn't experience this, but I know a lot of people do. Smoking. That's a tough one. I mean, if you've smoked most of your life and you just give it up for 9 months, that's a shorter span than the amount of time you smoked. So it makes sense that you would want to pick it back up. However, during that 9 months, we have to think about how we felt, what changed in our body, and the overall good of what a non-smoking household would be. That's just an example that I share. We also look at the research and scientific advances that have happened, especially in the medical community. And we've learned so very much. I mean, we see the technology in our vehicles. We see the technology advancing in all of the things around us. Where we don't see things changing are our classrooms, or our schools. We're still sitting in rigid rows. We're still having the same rigid timeline, and thinking the same way we did as far back as I can see pictures. So why are we not implementing the changes we know work? There are also changes from a non-toxic standpoint. The European Union has banned over 30,000 toxic chemicals. The US FDA has banned 13. That's a pretty significant difference. Really makes you go, are we using our research and the advances that we have in the right way? Are we pushing on the right people to implement those changes? These are my musings, and I get really frustrated when I hear of amazing advances in medical findings of rare diseases, since I'm a carrier of several rare diseases, and then it just stops. Or we have to do a trial on humans, and that has to take 7 years, and you didn't qualify for the trial because you're too sick. I'm kind of tired of it. And I would love to see us put some pressure where it needs to go. If that's where it is from a medical standpoint, or if maybe it's your school, getting a child's IEP through, or 504. Just knowing that sometimes it takes that. But that's my musing is, are we really sitting here with all of this knowledge that we're not going to use? Because by the time we use it, other countries will be laughing at us. But hey, we'll have gotten to it. And at that point, it will be fantastic. I lost my mouse, and I apologize for the noise. So another musing I have is we're taught throughout our lives, read labels, read labels, read labels, read labels. Buy smart, read labels, buy smart. We're taught that from a accounting or a financial household responsibility. We're taught that from a ingredients perspective, to make sure we're making choices that are healthy and not full of preservatives. And we're taught that from a toxicity standpoint, but we don't actually focus that much on the toxicity. And the reason I can say that is because a lot of our foods that are out there still contain very scary things, like plastics, and things that our bodies just can't digest. And then it ends up really making us sick, if we overindulge, or it becomes part of a routine, or sometimes, it's a buildup, a gradual buildup over time. We really have to look at a label from all different perspectives. So let's just think of a green pepper that comes to mind, or a bell pepper. And you have your bell pepper. And for some reason, they have to list the ingredients. So you look at the label, and it's got your net weight and how much it costs per net weight. So you compare the organic versus the non-organic. And this is where you have to make the choice. Are you going to save the 10 cents? Or are you going to spend the 10 cents and know that you didn't put pesticides in your on your family's plate? So then that's an easy division. That's an easy one to say: organic, non-organic. When you're looking at things like cereal boxes or any kind of label of, ingredients listings, those types of things, it gets confusing. And that's where I encourage you to use the 4 apps, or the one of the 4 apps, or all of them. But that was Yucca, YUKA, and the other one was Think Dirty, Clean Living, and then another one was EWG, and the final one was Detox Me. And those are great because you can just scan the label, and it does all the work for you, so you don't even have to think about it. Not only does it break down the good for your body, it breaks down the toxins and what are the potential hazards there. So really, that is one we can make an impact on. That was my musing. I went to the grocery store the other day, and I thought, I didn't scan a single item. And I got home and I scanned them, and luckily I had made very smart choices. But that's because I have many years of having that trained eye to look for those chemicals. And because I was buying very specific, rigid diet needs. So the ingredients lists were pretty simple. But, making sure we're reading all the labels and giving ourselves that space. So from a thought-provoking Tuesday, I say, why, after being pregnant, do we revert back to behaviors that are bad, or food intake that is not good and healthy, or lifestyle choices that are not wise? Why do we do that? Then, knowing we have research and scientific advances that have put us far, far, far beyond what we're living today, why are we not implementing those? And how do we make changes and get those into action? Another musing. And then your labels. Are you really thinking about what you're buying, or are you just grabbing stuff off the shelf? Do you have someone shopping for you? Are you being specific with them? Because if you're not, they're not scanning the items either. I know we used Instacart for a long time and had to be extraordinarily specific. Every time we asked for 8 bananas, we get 8 pounds of bananas. No joke. But think if you're going to make a change, the apps are really easy options for you so that you can have knowledge of what you're purchasing. I'm getting used to using that. I'm kind of thinking of my Target app, my Target Red Circle app, where you scan everything and kind of make sure you're not missing out on any deal. But just having that with you. No, a lot of us don't carry phones all the time, but if that's one place that you can make the exception, I would. So those are my musings on this Tuesday. So Thought-Provoking Tuesday with Rochelle Jackson, your non-toxic lifestyle coach, who's feeling a little bit flighty today. So I'm trying to center myself. I've got my my jewels on, and then here, trying to get back grounded because I'm a little head in the clouds, and that happens. Especially when something changes in your scheduled plan for the day and you have to adjust. But that's what is great about change, is we always grow from change, or from adjustments and from change. So as I was saying, I'm Rochelle Jackson. Thank you for joining me. If you did watch live, #live, your name, where you watched from. And if you're watching on the replay, #replay. And the same thing, your name and where you are coming in from. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. And hope you have a fantastic Tuesday that has thought-provoking questions that you can post in the comments for me. I would love to hear from you.